Today, I'm going to leave you with this particular story where we are looking at newscasting, and our very own Apollo James will be speaking to us today, and he'll be talking to Jesse Rogers just to look at the journey of news anchors that provide the public with updates on current and breaking news also, and where one needs to be familiar with every topic covered on the news program, persistent enough and have that extra kick to want something and go for it. Take a look.
Good afternoon. Today on our conversation on careers and leadership, we're talking about a very interesting sector. My sector, broadcast industry, but of course, news anchoring. So if you're confident in public speaking, or you're very passionate about reviewing current events, then a job as a news anchor might be gratifying for you or fascinating. So today, I'm joined by a seasoned news anchor right here from KTN News, Jesse Rogers.
A round of applause. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Asante sana.
You're welcome, bro.
Yeah.
How does it feel being on the other end?
Well, it's the hot seat. I've found out why they call it the hot seat. Because it's easier to ask questions than to answer them. You have to introspect while answering.
Yeah.
You have to think twice about your answers, because there's a person listening at the end, at the other end.
Yeah.
So it feels good to be on the hot seat, yeah.
Well, I hope I won't make you break so much sweat.
No, not at all. I hope you do, because it's your job, you know? Anyway, Go ahead.
Well, you've been in the industry for quite a while. Where did it start for you, and what inspired you to be a news anchor?
Well, I think I give credit to the content I consumed in my formative years. I was a big consumer of news, especially, KTN News, the likes of Catherine Kasavuli, the great legends. So when I was young and really taking in a lot, I drew inspiration from such characters on air, how they'd articulate their questions, how they would deliver the news. And I think I developed a knack for current news at such a young age. I think that's where that interest was sparked. Later on in campus, you're all trying to find your footing here and there. I got a chance to volunteer at Kenyatta University Radio. Thereafter, the TV station, I got an opportunity, and thereafter I was lucky enough when Standard Group came calling. Yeah, so that's part of the journey in a summary.
Yeah. Expectation versus reality, how's it been, experience-wise?
Well, of course, expectations usually gigantic, quite big, because you expect the best. You expect to move from one step of your career to the next. But the reality is usually humbling, because once you get to know what really matters in the career called journalism is at times not always being at the forefront, not being the one to break the news, to look good while doing that. But equally at times you play roles behind the scenes. And that's when you get to appreciate everyone who makes sure a product is successful, from the cameramen to the sound people to the editors on the desk. So there's so much that goes on behind the scenes. At times, as consumers, you see the guy delivering the news and you think, it's just him. So once I got to experience how this career is, I got to appreciate the people who are behind the scenes and play a very big part in making sure the product is a success. So that's my expectation versus reality sort of comparison, yeah.
It's a high-pressure job, especially if you're alive. Those kind of stories that might shatter you as a human being. How do you stay composed?
Well, the old saying, practice makes perfect. I think it goes a long way in making sure you're calm and composed and can articulate the words well in a high-pressure situation. They usually say, hard work beats talent if talent does not work hard enough. So as much as you might have talent within, you definitely have to put in the work. Putting in the work perhaps will mean practicing in such high pressure situations. I mean, there were times we used to practice in front of the mirror, you know, trying to read scripts and put yourself in a high pressure situation. People who know better so you can better your skill. So it's how you approach it that matters. Not everyone means well, especially in such careers where you're in the public limelight. So you definitely have to have a stable head on your shoulders, know who means well, who doesn't mean well, because not every criticism is positive. Someone might come and tell you, I don't like how you deliver news, but they won't tell you why they think you're not the best. If someone comes and tells me, I think you'll do better while doing this and this and this, I'll try and listen to them because they have a point they're trying to articulate. You know, so it's better you come and tell me polish here and there rather than tell me you're not good at this. You know, I'll take this and I won't take that. So you have to choose. Positive criticism is definitely good for you.
What do you think are like top 3 qualities that someone has to have to be successful in this line?
I think versatility is quite important. Number 2, it goes without saying, you have to believe yourself and you have to have your facts right. Because being a journalist, not just a news anchor, you're in the business of giving information. And when that information is questionable, then, you know, your job is questioned, and that is not good at the end of the day. So I think those 2 things are quite important. Have your facts right, and at the end of the day, believing in yourself isn't too bad. Yeah.
While you're on air, we have sometimes favorite moments. Yes. We have embarrassing moments.
One of the top moments for me is getting to cover the general elections that have just been concluded, because you definitely get to experience the high pressure nature of this job. So I got to see the tough side of journalism, especially when covering the general election, and that's something I always wanted. So it was interesting. Yeah, especially at a national television station.
Yeah.
Yes.
Any embarrassing?
Embarrassing moments, there are quite many. Because at times you learn on the job. You're not the best, but with time, with practice, with more bulletins that you handle, you'll definitely get better. So, of course, at the onset of this career, we've had embarrassing moments, from mispronouncing people's names, which is a big issue, especially if you have the guest right there. Make sure you have their name correct. Title as well, doctor, professor, just make sure you get that correct. And then get your facts right. You know, at the onset, you might think it's all about being seen on TV and whatnot. But at the end of the day, what truly matters is having your facts right, asking the right questions, having the right follow-up questions in case whatever the guest said is not too accurate. You need to pinpoint it and bring it out for the benefit of the audience. And at the end of the day, we don't ask questions for ourselves.
So Christian Amanpour once said that what you do, what you say, how you react to critical situations defines not just the moment, but it defines and shapes you. How has this career defined and shaped you?
I think with life, you always expect the unexpected. Not everything works out as you had planned out, you know? And it's the same with this career, because you might wake up expecting to have a certain interview, but breaking news happens, and you definitely have to think on your feet on how to deliver this particular piece of breaking news in the best way possible, because competition is equally thinking of that. So you need to think of the best interviewees, how best to deliver, if it's in terms of graphics, if it's in terms of an interview in studio, if it's in terms of a story as well. So you definitely have to think all round in terms of delivery, and it goes a long way in shaping who you are as a journalist, as a news anchor. Yeah, so true.
That makes so much sense. There's always that leap of faith that many people don't like. They're scared to death to take that leap of faith.
Well, they should go for it. I think you'll never know if you don't try. So, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, most dreams are killed by not trying it out in the first place. The worst they can do is say no. And if you're persistent enough, I think with Edison, with the bulb, 99 times it didn't work. It only took one time to work. So that's all you need. If you're persistent enough and if you believe that's what you're put on this world to do, go for it. Try it out. And it might not work out, but you'll learn something that will make you a better person, career-wise, personality-wise. So always go for it. I think that extra kick to want something and go for it is what defines the achievers from the rest of the people. So just make sure you strive to achieve. And I think I mentioned this before, you have to have a stable head above your shoulders.
Yes.
Because there's this saying, if you want to know a man's true character, you give him success, you give him opulence, you give him money, you know. So you'll know his true character. If you want to know his patience, then give him trials and tribulations. Let him go through some challenges. Then you'll know the true meaning of patience. So when you get there, you definitely need to remember the people who assisted you in that journey, in that path, what they stood for, what you stood for, while you're trying to achieve success, whatever way you describe it. So don't forget, because the same ladders you used to climb to get to that successful position is the same ladder you'll use while going down. The same people you'll meet while going up is the same people you'll meet while going down. So don't forget the people who played a part in your success. Exactly. I think that's my message.